Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra, and I'm going to take you through this short, energizing morning yoga practice. Really going to stretch and strengthen from head to toe to get you ready for the day ahead. No props are required. This should pretty much work for all experience levels, and we'll start lying down on our backs. Let's begin Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose. So the soles of your feet come together to touch, knees apart. And just let yourself soften down. And you might want to place your hands on your low belly, or you can reach your arms up overhead for a gentle opening into your chest and shoulders. Getting that first stretch through the inner thighs, through the inner groin. We'll use our time on the mat to set our intention for the day ahead. I like to do this by just picking one word. And from here, you can just lift your right thigh up and let your right knee drop down towards the left for a little spinal twist. You might need to readjust your hips a little bit here. We just want both knees and thighs to be over to the left. And you might even want to look over your right shoulder. This can be nice with the arms in a little cactus shape, pressing both shoulder blades in the ground. One word that captures how you want to feel today and what you want to focus on. Go ahead and lift the knees and thighs up. We'll go to the other side. So both thighs and knees drop over to the right. Try to really anchor your left shoulder blade to the mat. You might need to realign your hips a little, and you can look over your left shoulder. One more breath in here. And squeeze and lift, come all the way back through to center. Now go ahead and wrap your right thigh over your left one. You might also be able to wrap your right toes behind you. So this is Garudasana or eagle pose, but we're doing it lying down. With your arms, elbows bent at a 90-degree angle, wrap your right arm under your left, binding once or twice. And now go ahead and curl head and shoulders off the mat. Bring your elbows and your knees together to touch. Flatten your lower back into the floor. Keep the crunch, stay lifted, and see if you can just straighten a little bit through your legs and through your arms. And then exhale, crunch it back in. 4 more like this. Inhale, little stretch. Exhale, lift up higher as you crunch. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. Release the cross of the arms and the legs. Bring both feet flat to the floor. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, your bridge pose. Push into the feet, lift your hips, low back and mid back off the floor. Hug through your inner thighs. Push down into your shoulders. Think of lifting and squeezing through your seat a little bit more. And release by rolling down one vertebrae at a time. We'll find that reclined eagle pose on the other side. So this time you're wrapping your left thigh over your right, maybe also looping those toes back. With your arms, left arm goes under the right, binding once or twice. Now contract, feel that core strength as you bring your elbows and knees to touch. Maintain the contraction, you're just moving your arms and your legs a little bit. So inhale, trying to reach the knees and elbows away from each other. Exhale, squeeze to lift up a little more. 4 more. Inhale. And exhale, burning that fire. Inhale. And exhale. Stretch it out. Squeeze it in and release back into our bridge pose. One more time. Push your feet into the floor. Squeeze to lift your hips up nice and high. Really push into your big toes. Try not to roll to the outer edges of your ankles and of your feet. And you can choose to stay here. If you'd like, you can lift your heels off the floor, coming onto the balls of the feet. Bring the heels back down and slowly lower inch by inch. Draw your knees in towards your armpits. Maybe you're holding here. You can come into your happy baby pose, Ananda Balasana. Holding onto your toes or grabbing the edges of your feet. I like to keep my elbows on the insides of the knees, maybe rocking a little side to side. Slow, steady breaths in and out through your nose. Releasing this stretch, you can rock up tabletop stance onto hands and knees. Place your palms underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Flatten out through your lower belly here. And you can anchor or angle yourself so you're a little bit more towards the top of the mat rather than centered at the middle. And we're just going to extend our right leg back, push into your right heel. Get a nice stretch into your calf, into your ankle. Stretching into our toes at the same time. And bring your weight forward again. You're going to roll to the inner edge of that right foot so that it can be aligned and flat to the floor. And stretch your right arm up to the sky. A modification of side plank, Vashisthasana, only looking up if this is okay for your neck. Opening into a big stretch here. And you can stay as you are. If you'd like to add on, see if you can squeeze and lift your left knee a little bit off the mat. You're going to feel this one. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll bring that knee down. Right hand comes back to the floor. Let's step the right foot through in between our palms to the top of the mat. Align your knee directly over your ankle on Janiasana Low Lunge. Palms come together to touch. Shift your gaze up. Circle your arms down. Push into your front heel, half splits as you send your hips back. I like to flex my front foot here. You can always keep it flat to the floor if that feels better for you at home. Just really feeling the back of that leg open up. Back into our tabletop pose, and we'll do this sequence on the other side. So from tabletop, take your calf stretch first. Stretch that left leg behind you and push out into your heel. Try not to let all of your body weight sink into your wrists. Really dig down and push into your fingertips and knuckles. And we'll roll to the inner edge of that left foot so it's flat to the floor. Left arm stretches up to the sky. Vashisthasana variation. Try to lift out of your right shoulder so you're not sinking into that joint. And you might hold here. You can intensify by pushing into your left foot and lifting the right knee off the floor. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it back down. Left hand to the mat on Janiasana, our low lunge. So bring that left foot through. You might need to walk the back knee a little like what I'm doing here to get your knee over your ankle. Arms reach up, palms come together. And think of lengthening your tailbone, creating space through your lower back as you extend and lift up a little taller. And we can circle the palms down into your half splits as you straighten that front leg, trying to fold down. I like to flex the front foot, leave it out if you'd like. Bending into your front knee, let's now find our first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hands shoulder width distance apart, feet are hip width distance apart. And go ahead and paddle the feet out a little bit here, create some space. And we'll take 3 cleansing breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth, letting go of any tension here. Inhale. 2 more. Last one. Let's walk our feet to the top of the mat. Find a ragdoll fold. You might want to widen your feet a little bit here. Bend your knees. Hold onto the elbows and add a gentle sway side to side. Go ahead and release your hands to the mat. Bend your knees even more and push into your heels in order to roll up inch by inch. Mountain pose, Tadasana at the top of the mat. And from this mountain pose, we're going to come into eagle, which is exactly what we did lying down on our backs, but we're doing it standing now. Go ahead and wrap your left thigh over your right one. Maybe you're looping your toes back. You don't need to. Draw the lower belly in and bend into that supporting leg. You're going to wrap your left arm under your right, binding once or twice. So find your balance here. Totally normal. If you wobble, don't worry if you fall out of it. Press your shoulders down and away from your ears. Super stable here. Keep your legs exactly as they are. Just release your hands at your heart, Anjali Mudra, and we're going to step it back into a high lunge. So carefully step your left foot all the way to the back of your mat. You want your feet to be hip width distance apart, bending generously into that front knee. Make sure the weight of your hips is aligned under your shoulders. I like to bend my back knee a little bit here. And you can choose to stay as you are, or you can add your prayer twist from this high lunge, bringing the left elbow to the top of your right knee, pushing into that thigh to lift and open up a little bit more. Trying to bring your hands at your heart center. And look down towards the mat. Drop both hands to frame your front foot, 3-legged dog. Right leg extends all the way up and back. Bend your right knee, open up your hip nice and wide here. Squeezing into your glutes. And from here, let's find our pigeon pose. Bring your right knee behind your right wrist. Stretch your back leg back out behind you. Try to level out through your pelvis without leaning on one side more than the other. And take a little chest opener here into your back bend. And we'll fold forward. Come as low as you'd like. You really don't need to go all the way down. You can stay up on your forearms or up on your palms. We'll take 10 deep breaths right here. Really inviting that right hip and glute to release and open up. Remember, this is your time to set the tone for the day ahead. Use this time to stay present with yourself, with your breath. 2 more deep breaths here in the pose. And you can start to lift your way back up, finding your downward facing dog here. Take your time, make any little movements to readjust that right hip. And it's up to you. You can stay here. If you'd like, you can take a vinyasa. We'll flow into our plank pose on the inhale, lowering down, exhale, cobra, or maybe your upward dog as you inhale. And we all meet back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, lifting your hips all the way up. And let's walk our feet forward, ragdoll fold. Let your head and neck be heavy here and relaxed. Release your hands down, push into your heels, come all the way up to Tadasana at the top of the mat, mountain pose, and we'll find our flow on the second side. So we start in our eagle pose, Garudasana. You want to lean on your left thigh this time. Wrap your right leg over the left one, maybe wrapping your toes back. You need both knees to be bent. Lengthen your tailbone down. Wrap your right arm under your left. And it's almost like you're gazing through and past your forearms. Try to look at something that is not moving to keep your gaze. Press your shoulders away from your ears. Your legs will stay exactly as they are. Just release your hands to prayer, Anjali Mudra, and take your time to find your high lunge from here. So your right foot will step all the way back. Feet are hip width distance apart. Bend generously into that front knee. Maybe bend a little bit into your back knee. Lengthen tailbone down. And you can stay as you are or add your twist. Right elbow to the top of your left thigh. Try not to collapse your upper body over your thigh. You're trying to keep your belly lifted off of your leg. Rolling your left shoulder back. Looking down to the floor, let's find our three-legged dog. Frame your front foot with your palms. Lift your left leg all the way up and back. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Big stretch here as you push into your right heel. Into your pigeon pose, left knee behind your wrist. Extend and square off through the pelvis as you reach that right leg back. And take a moment here, opening through your heart, little back bend, and come to your expression of the pose, not forcing anything to happen. Try to get comfortable as much as possible here. 10 breaths. Try to soften your shoulders. Imagine you can breathe directly into that left glute and left hip. And you can start to come up. Downward facing dog, just like what we did before. create that space. And again, maybe this is where you would like to stay, or you can add a flow forward through to plank pose, chaturanga, cobra, or your upward facing dog. And we meet in our final downward dog. Really push everything back, curl your tailbone up, reach your chest towards your thighs. And you can set your knees down on the mat. Just take a moment here to sit on top of your heels. Rest one palm over the other, roll your shoulders back. Notice the effects of your practice, physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. And I'll just turn to face towards you. You can stay as you are or sit in a different way if that's more comfortable for your hips. We'll join our palms together at the heart. Really think of your one-word intention for the day. And we'll set it and close this practice with one chant of Om. Inhaling to chant. Big breath in. Namaste. Thank you so very much for doing this morning yoga practice with me. I hope you feel energized and ready to take on the day ahead. Before you leave and get on with your day, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your intention is. And please subscribe if you don't already. Hopefully you will make this a routine and practice yoga with me every single morning. Thanks again, and I'll see you tomorrow.